Welcome to Ability MKE Now. My name is Sue Roskopf, and here at Ability MKE Now, we are a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at Ability MKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at Ability MKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. We are going to have a lot of fun tonight. I am so happy to have a new friend joining us on the show tonight. And to do some introductions, I'm going to go ahead and bring Emily on in here to say hello and introduce our guest. Emily, over to you.
Hi, everybody, Milwaukeeans, or film Milwaukeeans and River West Radio, and everybody in the area. Um, so our, uh, and thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And so our guest this evening is the wonderful Sally Gimon, who we met through the Happy Neighborhood Project, as well as now we're with her through the Great Discovery, and she's all about like saving money through the special kind of um I can't even think of the name right at the moment. I just lost it. Um, but I am going to bring her in here and have her introduce herself and say a little bit more about who she is, um, being all the way over in North Carolina. So welcome,
Thank you,
Sally.
Emily. Thank you. I welcome. And thank you, Sue, for having me on. I appreciate it.
So glad to have you here. So tell us a little bit more about what she was just starting to get tip of the iceberg here. Give us a little more info on what you all do.
I am a real estate investor. In 2029, I was working full time and I wholesaled 7 properties. I knew about capital gains and I had $50,000 sitting aside to pay my taxes. What I didn't realize was the more money, well, when you make more money, you pay more in taxes. And my tax bracket went from 22% to 24%. April 4th of 2020, my CPA called me and said, congratulations, you're now at 24% and you owe $97,000 in capital gains. I don't know about y'all, but an extra $29,000 when 3 of my properties didn't pay me on April 1st because it was the start of COVID, it was a little bit hair raising. My CPA set me up on a payment plan. Thank God for that, because I had time to pay things. And I had read an article on the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. And I took 5 months to research it. And when I started both my business and beneficial trust in September of 2020, I started teaching it in my real estate group. I was the first female mastermind in my real estate group. And then my Thinking into Results coach told me I was playing too small and had to start my own business. So now I help US business owners, entrepreneurs, and investors learn the secret of the rich and help them save taxes just like the rich do, because this is not taught in school.
Wow. That's huge. Taxes is one of those things that kind of scares people because there's so many different things that we don't know. And
Correct. Death and taxes are taboo subjects. And I want to make it as easy for people to know about this because, I don't. I get to talk to a lot of people all over the country Zoom meetings, and how many people are behind in taxes, or how many people are surprised what kind of tax bill they've received, and they're like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "That I'm not a CPA. I just have a solution."
awesome. So
Sue,
go ahead.
have you heard of this spendthrift thing? Because I don't think I had.
No, this
Before.
is new to me, so I'm intrigued. I'm looking forward to
Yes,
hearing more. What can you share about a little bit of how that works?
I'd be happy to. Does come from England, way back when King Henry VIII, that famous king who chopped off his wives' heads, he started the Church of England. He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went further back to history to the Magna Carta, that started in 13th century. It's contract law that came to the colonies. Our tax code, our current tax code, went into effect February of 1913. It was only supposed to be around for several years. It's 111 years later. The super rich families, the Carnegies, the DuPonts, the Kennedys, the Rockefellers, made sure they could save taxes. Well, if they can save taxes, I think everyone should know about this because it's not taught in schools. And there are over 1 million attorneys in the United States. Only 4% are trust attorneys, and they're working with the super rich. And I want middle America. I mean, the average person joining my real estate group, nationwide real estate group, is 56 years old, trying to make some money for retirement. And, if you wholesale or fix and flip a house at $50,000, at 22%, you save $11,000. At 24% tax rate, you save $12,000. At 32% tax rate, you save $16,000 for the exact same property. I mean, I love my job. I get to help people save taxes because people don't like paying taxes.
Yeah, we earn that money. We want to be able to keep all as much as we can. We want to do our share, but we don't want
Correct.
to do more than our share.
That's the key. This is legal. It's in the IRS tax code, and people are like, well, how come my CPA hasn't told me? And nothing wrong with CPAs, but they're not trust attorney. They didn't go to law school for to be a trust attorney, and this is the specialty for trust attorneys. And the law firm I work on behalf of, they have 4 trust attorneys on staff. This came from a Harvard law professor 76 years ago, the Benson Financial Trust. It's never been audited. Only once in 76 years, one trust was examined by a senior IRS agent. He spent 5 hours looking it over, and then he signed off on it. And, small businesses like a mom and pop auto body shop in New Jersey, they're saving New Jersey state income taxes and federal taxes $36,469 a year, but per month, not working harder or longer, $3,039 per month. So what he did, his name is Mike, he went to the local high school, hired 2 high school kids who want to learn auto mechanics. He's paying them $15 an hour to come after school and on Saturdays. And now he gets to bring in more work on the weekends and make more money and save more money. I mean, it's a win-win-win situation for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. That's huge. I hear that. I see that everybody in that piece wins. More people are working, making money, more work's getting done, and
Exactly.
keeping their money on the tax. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. So now this is something then that applies to business owners and entrepreneurs. Am I following that
Correct.
correctly? Okay.
Correct. There's 5. Paul Benson, the Harvard law professor, wrote 5 different trusts. The business trust is for U.S. business owners, entrepreneurs, and anyone making 1099 income, independent workers. Like maybe they're an affiliate marketer, maybe they're an MLM or something like that. There's a beneficial trust that's for investors. The 5 taxes you save with the beneficial trust are short-term and long-term capital gains when you sell something at a profit. Interest income taxes, if you're in a mutual fund, a passive investor. I have what are called notes where I'm the paper on the house and people pay me their mortgage. That's interest income. You save dividend income taxes if you're in the stock market or day trader. You save rental income taxes if you have rental properties, Airbnb, vacation rentals, 5 doors, 20 doors, multifamily, are doing arbitrage. And finally, royalty income taxes. So if you have talent, which I do not have any talent, but if you're an actor, an actress, an author, all those 5 taxes are saved by the beneficial trust. And most of my clients have one or the other. I have about 155 clients. Some of them have both. Only about 10 of us have both trusts, but I love to talk about it because people need to know this. I mean, just regular people need to know about this.
Amazing. And the number of people actually that falls into a category somewhere, somehow that, okay, so here's a real basic question. A
Mhm.
lot of people aren't familiar with what exactly is a trust even. So can you just shed a little light on for somebody who has heard of it but doesn't really know what it is? What is a trust?
Great question. A trust is there to give you protection from other things. 97% of the trusts sold in the United States are what my mom and dad had, what Susie Orman talks about on PBS television, the family trust. There's nothing wrong with the family trust, but the only thing it's designed is to avoid probate. What I'm talking about is what the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, US presidents have. The 4 things it'll save. Number 1, taxes, year after year, generation after generation. You're not tax-free, you're saving very specific taxes. Number 2, keeps your information private. When I joined my real estate group, they told me to set up an LLC for each one of my properties. I didn't realize you could get LLCs, S corps, and C corps are statutory law. Each state is different. What you do in Wisconsin and what I do in North Carolina, even though it's the same thing, our states are different. 40% of all LLCs, S corps, and C corps get sued every year over crazy things. And then third thing, all your assets, this is asset protection, all your assets are in the trust. And if someone tries to sue me, they know my name, but they don't know what I have, how much I own, where I own it, or anything else. So all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. And the fourth way you're saved, this, I would love for all your people to know this. I'm not sure if you've heard of the Corporate Transparency Act from the Treasury Department, but this is a passed bill. Anyone who is a LLC doing business as S Corp or C Corp has to fill out this paperwork for the Department of Treasury by December 31st, 2024, or they could be fined $10,000 and or 2 years in jail. Talk about life-changing work. I have CPAs who hear me talk, contact me to find out about this because so few people know about it. And, with the trust, you're exempt from doing this. So one of my clients who had 44 rentals and 44 LLCs, I saved him a headache of doing that paperwork 44 times.
Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Oh, okay. So, well, I do have another friend that is joining us in the room here as well. I want to give her a chance to come on in and say hello.
Oh, sure.
Miss Diva, are you there? Denise, can you hear us? I'm just checking to see if she's able to join. Oh, there I see her.
Oh,
Sorry about that. I have a delivery.
Oh, you're good.
I am here. How are you? Oh, wow. This is the delivery that I heard was very, very interesting.
thank you. Are you a small business person too? You're a lifestyle strategist. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, so I help people with their entrepreneurship and wellness journey. So basically.
Excellent. So, and you're a small business person. You're exactly the kind of people I want to hear this information because, true story, I was in a networking group meeting. I'll just say the name, JV Directory. One of the gentlemen who ran the group, his girlfriend works for a Manhattan law firm who sells the spendthrift trust to anyone who has $8 million sitting in their bank account. Even if I had $8 million, it would not be in my bank account, but they're only going after the extremely well-heeled people. And I just want to help average people who, want to buy a business or sell a business or make money doing what they're doing, what they love to do.
Exactly. No, I totally agree that trusts are so important. And so many people need to understand that it's not just for someone who maybe has a disability or someone who maybe is wanting to put their estate in a trust. Like trust, people really don't know the power of a trust. So really thank you for sharing that with us.
Exactly. Well, I have 3 different clients who have one of my good friends from my real estate group. Sad story. Her daughter lived in Portland, Oregon, and they said she had MS. For 4 years, they treated her for MS, and then they finally did a blood test, and she didn't have MS. She had Lyme disease. And so unfortunately, she's bedridden, she can't work right now. So my friend Veronica, who's a real estate investor, has set things up so when she passes away, her 2 sons will get money, but her daughter Crystal will have special care to take care of herself for the rest of her life, because that's Veronica's number one concern is, not saying her sons are mean or anything, but one son has 3 kids, another son has 2 kids. They live in 2 different states, and Veronica's the main carer of her daughter Crystal.
Right.
And she wants to make sure Crystal's taken care of if something happens to her.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, it is super important for people to really understand the power of a trust and how it can really, you know, put your mind at ease.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love hearing stories of how this has helped people. And do you have another story that you're able to share? Stories
I've
tell.
got plenty of stories.
I love it.
What this is a true story. One of my clients, this was last summer, so 2023. He went to a church function. It's in Phoenix, so it gets very hot. He ate 3 deviled eggs, thinking nothing of it. He loves deviled eggs. I don't know if someone didn't wash their hands or if it got too hot. His kidneys shut down. Because he has his real estate in the trust, when he went to get dialysis, they used his social security number to look things up. Because when you have to get in dialysis, you're automatically put onto, in Arizona they call it Access, but Medicaid before you're 65. He can still keep his real estate, but he can still get his dialysis. And he told me his dialysis 3 days a week would be $14,000 out of pocket per month. That's insane. That's a lot of money.
A lot of money. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
It is, gosh, when it comes to anything financial, people can be floating along and doing okay, but all it takes is it's some unknown thing that comes up, such as that, something that just suddenly changes everything, and your entire life gets turned upside down just a moment's
Completely.
notice because of how things. That's just how life is. I mean, unless you are like a Rockefeller or like you're saying, where you've got so much money that it really isn't gonna make a big dent like that. People that are, for the most part, aren't in that kind of position. To have the protection, to know what tools are out there to help a person be in the best possible position. I'm so glad that you're here and able to educate us on what that all is.
I appreciate, Sue. And when you're opening, when you talked about disabilities, I want to bring this forward. I have amblyopia. I'm legally blind in my left eye, and I'm a dyslexic. I mean, for me to be talking about things is an amazing thing because when I was a kid, I had a speech impediment, and you don't know who has a disability or who's dealing with mental health or who's dealing with a family a loss in the family or something like that. It can affect anybody. We were talking about the weather and how bad the weather can be for people and losing houses and things like that.
Yeah, you don't know what another person is dealing with. You don't know where they are in life. And that's where being able to share information like this that can help so many people in so many ways. I love this. I love that we're able to have that impact out there. And now I know, but I want to make sure to ask too. So I know there's a website called The Great Discovery, and you have a couple
Yes.
of courses on there. I'm assuming that courses are related to this whole idea of the trust. Can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like? What is it that your courses are?
I have 2 different courses. I'm going to do a third course for homeschooling, but the first course is Save U.S. Taxes Legally. It's a 23-minute presentation. It has 3 articles from Forbes magazine that I didn't write. Somebody else wrote talking about the trust. It has case law in case someone wants to say, hey, is this legal? And then a chart that shows if someone is filing single and making $80,000 gross, how much they will save in federal and state income taxes in all 50 states. 7 states don't have state income taxes. The other class I read an article in November of 2021 from bankrate.com, which really affected me. It said 80% of Americans have more than $90,000 in debt and are not saving 10% for retirement. At the time I read this article, I was a Medicare broker where I was helping people who were turning 65 get onto Medicare. And I would say 7 out of 10 calls, the person was going to live just on Social Security. They had nothing else to save them. So it's a circle of wealth in 5 simple steps. It's 5 different steps I have used to become financially free. I'm not saying everyone has to do this, but April 1st of 2020, when 3 of my properties did not pay me, again, going back to my friend Veronica, who has the daughter who's got was diagnosed as MS, but really had Lyme disease. She got me involved in gift giving. So, the first is 2 questions from Proctor Gallagher. Second is crypto tree, one time $10, 3 recruits. You can make $19,980. It's capital gains because it's crypto. Third one is to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years, or your auto loan in 2 to 3 years using Velocity Banking. This is how the Australians pay their mortgages. Banks here in the United States use what's called amortization rates, and it's against us. Fourth one is if someone wants to learn how to become a real estate investor like I am. And then the fifth step, once you go through the gift giving or the crypto tree twice, you have enough money to buy a trust and do all other things and save either 1099 income or save capital gains, your choice. But people just, these are concepts people don't know about. You were talking about you have a show after this. I do a show on Win Win Women TV every Monday at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And, just simple, your mortgage in 5 to 7 years. A friend of mine here in North Carolina just got a brand new car, and she's got the loan for 7 years. Her other car was only 4.5 years old when it got totaled, and she didn't get hurt, but it was totaled. How is she going to pay? She has 2 car loans at the same time, and that she's, it's for people like her, just where life came at her too quickly, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Because, that's the kind of thing you don't think about often. Like, oh my gosh, yeah,
Yes.
what if? Because again, we never know what's coming around the corner and what's next. We have a friend that does a lot that's local here that actually does a lot with wheelchair basketball, and he's the one that introduced me to the concept of being a tab, temporarily able-bodied. You'd never know. That's one of those things where if you live long enough, at minimum, due to age, you're going to end up having some kind of a challenge, a disability, something. Things change.
Disability, the reason I became a real estate investor, true story. My long involved story, but my parents came to Charlotte for a wedding. I was in Phoenix. I got a message that Thursday before the wedding that my mom was in the emergency room. They didn't know what was wrong. She ended up having septic of the blood or blood poisoning and on a ventilator for 13 months. My dad stayed with my mom for 13 months in North Carolina, and I was going out to their house in Goodyear, Arizona to do the mail. First week of December, a letter, 27 pages thick from Medicare, said that her bill for the emergency room to be on a ventilator for a month was $92,000. My dad was a retired military officer that had TRICARE for life. But at the time, I was working as a Medicare broker, and my deductible for health insurance was $8,000. I'm like, what? I need to change my life, because if I had an accident or if something happened to me, who's going to help me? Because your parents and family can only do so much, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Oh, the realities. It is.
Yes.
It's the kind of stuff you don't want to think about because it's the unknown. It can be scary, but really, if you put things in place and use tools like what you're talking about with having a trust in place and to understand what's out there and to understand what is possible for people, it makes all the difference. If you don't know all the rules to the game, it's hard to play
Correct.
the game.
If you don't know the right people, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, this really sounds funny. I talked to a gentleman yesterday, multimillionaire, who saw one of my YouTube videos, and he's just like, "Why has my CPA not told me this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know." And he's got 14 Taco Bells and makes a lot of money, and he's just like, he goes, "I pay so much money in taxes. I need to save it." And I gave him a quote, and he's just like, "Let me move some money around." I'm like, "Okay." So it's a good thing.
Excellent. So, but I want to make sure we do have a way for people to reach out. If people have questions and want to know more, how do they find out more?
On the Great Discovery, my class for Save US Taxes is my name, www.sallygimon.com. When you get out to the Great Discovery, I don't know if people know about this, but it is an amazing place. Did you just hear? We heard this today. Alex talked about it. If you join the Genius Club, you will get 5 hours of translation per month for any language you want. So if your native language is Hindu or your native language is Mandarin Chinese, you can have any class done in your native language if you belong to the Genius Club. But when you go out there, my first name and my last name are unique. You'll find my second class about the circle of wealth, and there's so many free classes on there. People should check out the Great Discovery just because it's there.
Yeah, it's a fun platform to the different topics. I mean, it's a
Yes.
smattering of a little bit of everything, and you're
Whatever
right.
you want to know. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
YouTube on steroids. Yes.
exactly. It is a fun place to visit, and I know we've been on there. I've actually listened to several different pieces on there, and I've learned a lot. And I know there's so much more. There's more things that keep getting added. So I haven't been back there for a little while. I need to go on and see what is all the new on there and soak it
Do
in.
you or do you or Kurt have any classes on there yet, or free
We
classes, anything?
don't. I need to have something on there, and I don't yet. We've been talking, we do a lot of adaptive water skiing, and that's something that we've been saying we should put together a piece that we can put on there so others can understand what is it, how does it work, it's so much fun and to be able to share some
Well,
success stories
adaptive
with
water
others.
skiing that could go around the world. Somebody in Spain could watch it, or somebody in Malaysia could watch it, and they can translate it into their own language. You talk about it in English, and then because of the Great Discovery, whoever's in Malaysia, and God, I shouldn't use that country. I don't know what Malaysians speak.
I don't either. That's a great question.
But because they have water all around them, so if if someone needs adaptive water skiing, they can watch the program and they can learn in their own language on the Great Discovery. I mean, that's a perfect thing to put on there.
I love that. So much fun. So, and actually, well, Diva, I know you're still here too. I want to make sure I have a chance to turn back your way if you had any comments, questions that you wanted to share here too.
Well, definitely comments because you said a few things, not only about the trust that I love, but also velocity banking. I've been recently finding out about that. I've done a little bit of that myself. So, it really helps to bring down your credit debt. So that's a great idea that I just recently found out. Yeah, I think I love the Great Discovery. I've got a few things up there myself, and it is the best platform, honestly.
Oh, neat. What are your classes called?
I have visualizing, creative visualization 101. That's a free course. And then I have my journal, Make Dreams Happen.
Oh, fantastic! There's so much to learn on the Great Discovery. I don't. Do you know who brought you in? Are you on Alex Hitt's team?
I am.
Alex is such a good
Every
guy.
Wednesday, okay, he's amazing. He's amazing. So every Wednesday, 3 o'clock, East Coast time. Y'all are in Wisconsin. I don't know. What are y'all on? Central time?
I'm on Central. Yeah, Diva's actually East Coast.
Yes.
East Coast. But yeah, he said next week there's going to be a big announcement. So if you can make it, Alex
Yeah.
is always keeping us informed.
Awesome. Thank you for the reminder.
Oh, sure.
Well, Sally, this has been such a pleasure having you on with us tonight. I hope that people have gained some piece of knowledge. I know I sure have. This has been such a
Excellent.
pleasure. So again, Sally's website, if you are able to look her up at all, if you want more information, SallyGimon.com. And again, Diva, it's always great having you here, hon. I'm so glad to have you in the house. Sally, thank you for your time and joining us here with Ability MKE Now. My name again is Sue Roskopf, and for all of us here, and as